Okay, so we went over the basics of Flexbox. We add display flex to a container, and then all of its immediate children get turned into flex items, and we can align them horizontally or in a column, however we want. And there's also alignment classes we can use, so justification, alignment, and so on. So to display this, I'm going to create a new file called 17_flex_align.html. Put our boilerplate in, and let's change the title to flex align, and we'll put in our style tags. Oops. And in the body, I want the same thing. I just want 3 divs, but I want them to have a class of item and then also their own custom class, so item 1, 2, and 3. So let's use Emmet here. We'll do class item, also class item dash, and I want it to increment 1, 2, 3, so we'll use a money sign here. And then for the content inside, we use curly braces. We'll put an H3 inside each, H3 inside each one, and we'll just say item and then an incremental number, so money sign, and we'll do this 3 times, so times 3, and there we go. And one thing I forgot to do was add a container. So we want to grab all these and Shift or Option and hit the up arrow, and you can just bring it right up. Okay, so let's open this in Live Server. And I just want to add some general styling to the items. So let's do that real quick. So I'm actually going to paste it in. It's the same styling we had: the gray background, the border, padding, alignment, and so on. And then I'm also going to add, let's do a margin of, let's say, 0.5 rem. Okay, now in order for these to be flex items, of course, we need to add to the container, we need to add display flex. So we'll save that, and again, automatically it's going to align horizontal into a row. Now let's say that we don't want to just use flex 1, flex 2, we don't want it to go all the way across, we want to give these custom widths. So basically what we can do is we could use width. I'm just going to make them all the same, but we could use width like this and say 300 pixels. So now each one is 300 pixels, but there's another property that we can use with flex items called flex basis, which will also give it a width of 300 pixels, so basically does the same thing. All right, now let's start looking at alignment classes. So I want to align these on the horizontal axis right here. So for that we use justify content, and these alignment classes, they're going to go, not classes but properties, they're going to go on the container. So let's say justify dash content, and there's a lot of different values for this. The default is going to be flex start, which is basically aligned to the right here. Let's actually make this to these 200 pixels. Okay, so now they're 200 pixels. So flex start is basically aligning them all to the right. I'm sorry, the left. And then we have flex end if we want to align to the right. Okay, you can see they all got pushed over. Another value we have is center, so we can align them all to the center. Now we have some really cool values that we can use as well. Whoops, just want to close that up. So we have space around. If we do that, what that's going to do is it's going to divide the space around each one. So you can see over here, and then we have the space around the first one, around the second one, and around the third one. Another one we have is space between, which is similar, except it's not on the edge. The remaining space is going to go in between like that. We also have space evenly, and if we save that, you'll see now it's just even on all sides. So really cool, these alignment properties. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in here inside of a comment all the different options, just so you have them, so you know, in case you need to come back to this. All right, now let's take a look at align items, which is actually going to align it this way. Now, in order for this to work, you're going to have to set a height on your container. Now, for the container, I'm going to give it a background color just so we can see it. So I'm going to say background, and let's do, we'll do 555 and save. So right now it just wraps around the content, but let's give this container a height. Okay, so I'm going to say height, and we'll do 600 pixels and save. Okay, now the default for this is going to be stretch, okay, for align items. So let's say align items, and if we say stretch and save, you'll see that it's the same thing. Basically, they're going to just stretch all the way down. Now we also have flex start and flex end. So if we do flex start, you'll see that they're just going to align up here. If we do flex end, they're going to go to the bottom. If we do center, they're going to go right in the center. So you can see how easy aligning this stuff is. We don't have to judge and do like a padding top and have it be different pertaining to the browser height. Like, it's always going to be in the center. So let's look at some other ones. We also have, actually those, yeah, I think the only other one we have is baseline, which is just the normal. I'm not sure the difference between baseline and flex start actually. But those are the values. I'm going to paste those in. And let's just put a comment here and say justify content is when we align items horizontal, and then align items is when we align items vertical. Okay, and I should put in here that there must be a height. Okay, so next one I'm going to show you is align content, and this aligns vertical when there's extra space. So basically, if they wrap, what I'm going to do is just copy this down a bunch. I'll get rid of it after, but let's save that and let's make it wrap. So remember, we have flex dash wrap, and we'll set it to wrap. Actually, I think that's too much for the 600 pixel container for the height. Yeah, so we'll do that. So actually we'll take off one more, so we just have 2 rows. So align content is going to deal with how these are aligned vertically. So let's go right here and say align dash content, and let's set it to flex start. Okay, so if we save that, you'll see that now that we don't have that giant space in between. Okay, if we want to do flex end, save, it's going to move all of them to the bottom. If we do center, they're going to go to the center. If we do space around, it'll do space around, which I think is the default, but we also have space between. Save that, and then they're just gonna go at the top. So yeah, this has to do with having more than one row. So I'm gonna put a comment here, and let's say align items vertical where there's extra space, and then I'm gonna paste the options in here. So hopefully this makes sense. Now we can also add alignment properties to individual items. So what I'm going to do is go back to having just 3, and let's say we want the second one to be down here. We want to keep these 2 up here but have the middle one down. So what we can do is that has a class of item 2. Yeah, we'll do item 2. And then let's put a comment, and we'll say align single item vertical. So this is going to be align self. Okay, so align self, and let's do flex end. Save it, take a look, and now this one, item 2, is now aligned flex end. Okay, we can do center if we want. And now it's in the center. So I'm just going to paste in the options for align self. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is the order. We can change up the order here without having to change the markup, which is pretty powerful, because your markup, you want it to be very semantic and you want it to be orderly, but you might want it displayed differently in the browser. So instead of having to move things around here, we can simply use the order property. So what I'm going to do is say, let's do item 1, and we already have item 2 here, and then let's do item 3, and for item 3 let's do order 1. Item 1 will do order 3, and item 2 let's do order 2. So basically it should be 3, 2, 1. So let's save. And now if we check it out, we have item 3 first, 2, and then 1. And we didn't do anything in the markup. Okay, we just did it all within CSS. So that's flex order. I'm sorry, just order. All right, so I think that we've covered pretty much the basics, the core of Flexbox. And if you're still confused, don't worry about it. Next, we're going to jump into a pretty cool project where we're going to be using Flex quite a bit. All right, so I'll see you in the project.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer.